Hey everyone, welcome to the inaugural episode of Professional American. I'm Christoph Ambrosch. If you didn't already know who I am, that's me. I'm going to be the guy running the show around here. Hopefully won't be the only person on the show ever. Hopefully we'll have some guests in the future. Maybe you, who knows? I really don't know how. I have a kind of an outline what I want to do for the show today. A couple things I want to get covered here, and then we'll dive into the Q&A at the end and to wrap up with the first episode. But just want to kind of go over some housekeeping here, get some things out of the way. So what we're going to do today, we're going to this is an introductory episode. Talk a little about me, which I don't want this show to be about me specifically, but I guess in order to understand who I am and why this is happening, you kind of have to know a little bit about me. We're going to define Professional American. We're going to go over some of the goals for the show, and then we're going to do some questions and answers, a little Q&A sesh, if you will. First of all, before we get into anything else, I want to state that I'm hopefully I can hold true to this, but I don't want to be doing any advertisements or ad reads or anything, there's no sponsorships or anything like that. This will hopefully be a forever ad-free podcast. I'm not doing this to make any money. I just want to do this as a creative outlet to interact with more people, some of which may be through my business, which happens to be the Bearded Detailer, which you may see at the bottom of the logo. It's a production of the Bearded Detailer. So that is me. It's a business that I started back in 2016 and continue to do inside my own home. So we'll cover a little bit more of that in the About Me. So let's get going, shall we? So, a short about me. Well, I'm not short, so we'll start with that. I'm 34 years old, 6'2". No, I mean, that is true. I'm not lying about that. So who am I? As I mentioned, I'm Christoph. I am 34. I'll be turning 35 actually in a couple weeks. It will be my birthday, and I am a husband of, our anniversary is this month, actually. It will be, we've been together for 16 years. We've been married 13 years this year. We are parents, so I'm a father to two daughters. One just had her birthday on Friday. She turned 11, and my youngest daughter's birthday was back in December. She just turned 9, so I'm a husband and a father. I am a business owner, as I mentioned. I own the Bearded Detailer. This was this is an automotive detailing business that is based in Center Valley, Pennsylvania. It started out as just something to do, something to pass the time until I found a job, and then I decided to just say, to hell with it, and go full beans. Give it all the cans of beans and give it my all. So when I dedicate myself to something, it's all the way. So that's a little, that's the short and sweet of me. I did spend some time in the military. I was in the Army National Guard from Pennsylvania from 2003 to 2009, deployed to Afghanistan in 2008. And that's the short and sweet of that. Don't like to dwell on the military too much. It was something that I did. It was a job I did. It was fun, and kind of miss it a little bit, but that's all there is about that. Unless you have questions about it, which then you can ask and I will talk. All right. I guess that's enough about me. We can, obviously, you'll probably learn a little bit more about me as time goes on, but I just wanted to give you a little quick, short, and sweet. I'm going to do my best for this podcast also to not be scripted. I might have an outline of things I want to cover, but I already have a scripted podcast, which I guess this is also about me. I do run Tales of Honor podcast, which is a bi-weekly show that comes out twice a week, which is, of course, that's what bi-weekly means. It's twice a week. Every Wednesday and Sunday that talks about the stories of every Medal of Honor recipient, which the Medal of Honor, for those who don't know, is the United States. It's our highest military award for valor that can be earned by any of the branches of the military. So there are over 3,000 stories, over 3,000 recipients, and I have a mission of covering every single one of those. So some of you may be here from that podcast. Some of you may go check out that podcast because of this one. So hope you do. It's free, and there's over 380 episodes for you to go check out. So go do that. Anywhere you listen, wherever you're listening to this, you can go listen to Tales of Honor podcast. All right. So let's get into defining professional American. Why the name professional American? Sounds kind of weird. Sounds machismo maybe. I can tell you that the term the professional American, that actually started as a joke for me. This is going back to when I was in the Army. Instead of telling people that I was in the Army or that I was a veteran, I used to joke around. And I cannot remember who it started with, but would joke around with friends saying, well, I'm not a veteran, I'm a professional American. Which, by definition, if you are a professional of something, it means you get paid to do what you are doing. And someone who is in the military is very American. It's an American thing to do. So being paid to be an American is the definition of a professional American. But as time went on, it kind of developed from being more of a joke to more of something that I actually kind of want to live by. I think there's more to it. I took the time to write this out because I wanted to have a hard copy of what I define as a professional American in front of me. And I have two versions of it. Version number one is a professional American is a person who pursues the unalienable rights outlined in the Declaration of Independence, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Simply, this is the right to live a life as one pleases without surrender, while striving to make every day better than the previous. To me, anyone who does those things is a professional American. It's not someone who has to do one job specifically, but you can do any of those things in pretty much anything you do, like in pretty much in every day. So to me, that is what a professional American is, and I would kind of like to highlight things in this show that kind of embody what it means to be a professional American. So whether that is bringing on people to talk to who happen to, that I think embody that definition, or talking about things in the news or anything that kind of reflects that, is kind of my goal. And if not, we'll just talk about anything. I don't care. So it's kind of going to be an open forum podcast, but in the back of it, that is kind of what I want to have as a theme running through every podcast episode. So that is the definition. We talked about me. Next, we're going to go into the goals for the show, which I started to talk about. I do want to cover a different topic on every episode. I want to be a different topic. So whatever the topic is going to be for that episode, I kind of want everything within that episode, whether it might be the questions, to all be related. So kind of a topical show. And I do want to highlight, like as mentioned, I want to highlight individuals that I feel act like a professional American, and I do want to interact with listeners, that's all of you, via Q&A. So if you have a question, you can send it in. How can I send it in, you're asking? Well, I'm really happy you asked. If you go to thebeardeddetailer.com/professional American, it's that simple. That will bring you up to our page. I didn't want to create a separate web page for the podcast. I want it to be tethered to my business because it is going to be kind of about that as well. So if you go there, thebeardeddetailer.com/professional American, you can see the podcast artwork there. There is a suggestion box. So if there's something that you think you'd like to see different or added to the show or taken away, you can click on that. It will bring you to your email, and it'll automatically even fill in your subject lines with "I have a suggestion," and write that down and send it in. And then right underneath that, there is a Q&A submission. You can click on that. It'll also bring you to your email app of choice, and you can submit your question. I will state, it says it on there as well, but I'll reiterate it here. Any question that is submitted will be anonymous. I will not be reading any notes, I will not be reading any names. I will not be selling your information. I won't be giving it out to anybody. It'll just be between you and me. Obviously, the question won't be between you and me. It'll be between anyone who's listening, but your identity will be our little secret. So, and there is also no holds barred for questions. You can answer. I mean, you can ask anything. If you want to know what my favorite laundry detergent is, go ahead and send it in. Spoiler: I don't have one. But if you would like a more in-depth question answered, I can do that. You can ask whether it's about detailing, whether it's about. I like to try to keep politics to a minimum, but hey, if you have something that's kind of a broad political question, fine, we'll talk about it. And whatever, car related, I don't care. In fact, we have 5 picked out for today. They mostly came from Instagram, so I do have an Instagram page as well. I don't have many plans to be active on there, but it is Professional American. I believe it's American Podcast. Let me double check here. I believe that is right. I believe it's Professional American Podcast because I think Professional American was taken. Let me double check. Yes, Professional American Podcast is Instagram. Professional American on Facebook, and again, Facebook's mostly going to have videos that you can listen to the episodes. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is you're going to listen, but those are going to be the 2 main ways. So if you want to send in questions via Instagram, I will check the messages there. Via Facebook, I'll check the messages there, and email would be the preferred method of question delivery. So, this might be one of the shorter episodes. There's not a whole lot to go. I just wanted to kind of do a little quick housekeeping and let you know what's going on. My goal is for when these episodes come out will be the first Friday of every month is my goal. If I feel the need to start putting out more episodes than that, then we'll do it twice a month, then maybe 3, maybe we'll just do a weekly at that point. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But that is the plan for now. So right now I'm recording this on January 31st, last day of January. This will be coming out. Let me see here. Look at the calendar. This will be coming out on Friday the 5th in the morning. This way you can listen to it on your way to work, on your way home from work, at work. I don't care when you listen to it. But it'll be coming out on Friday, February 5th. So when you're hearing this, know that I'm from the past. Let's get to the Q&A section. As I mentioned, all of these came from Instagram, so send it on Instagram or email. First up, is it patriotic to pay taxes? So we're starting heavy right out of the gate. And I would like to also point out that all of these questions and answers, the answers to these questions will all be in my personal opinion and experience. I'm obviously not an expert in this, especially this subject in and of itself. In my opinion, I think it is patriotic to pay taxes. Now, I think there are some taxes that might be a little overkill, maybe a little unnecessary. We do have public services that I believe are good, like obviously your police departments, your fire and ambulance crew, your fire departments. Those are a public service that I believe that is a good. That is a good that we need. I know here in Pennsylvania, I'm not sure I know every state it can be different. I am not a personal fan of property taxes. I think that's kind of one of the ones that still blow my mind a little bit. You know, if I go out and buy a computer, I pay sales tax on it once, and that's it. It's mine. But if I go out and pay for a piece of property, even if I pay cash, and I pay the full asking amount, I have to pay tax on it every single year. That one kind of gets me. I know that's not true for everywhere, but that one kind of gets me, and I would love to move to a state that doesn't have that. But I do feel it is patriotic to pay taxes. Yes, in that would be the short general answer to that. I think the bigger question is looking at how those taxes are distributed. I would love to see an itemized, like, you pay this much in taxes. Here's where they all went specifically. This much of it went to this, and this. An itemized a receipt for my taxes. I would like to see a receipt. I know federally that would become huge, but especially for local township municipalities, I would love to see an itemized receipt for where my taxes went to. And then if I disagreed with something that was on that list, or if enough people disagreed with it in your township, then you could go to a township meeting and say, we disagree with this much going to this. I think that would be a better way to handle taxes. Again, not an expert, but my opinion. I also have no freaking choice. I have no choice over this, unfortunately. The only choices we all have is to move somewhere that handles the tax money different. If you don't like living in a state that has a high sales tax, well, then you can leave. You can go to another. That's the awesome part about America, is you can do that. So, and I know in our township, I'm not mad. I'm not overly satisfied, but I'm not also upset enough to just up and leave yet. I know for us, we have chickens. We have 9 chickens, and spoiler alert for anyone, I highly doubt that anyone from our township is listening to this podcast. But if they are, I know we're not allowed to have them. And this is, I know this is going down a rabbit hole here, but it was one of those we would rather ask for forgiveness than ask for permission because, well, chickens are just so damn awesome. And I like my eggs way more than I like going to go buy them. Being able to walk outside and get them from my hens, we don't have roosters, so they are quieter, is so that's something an example of something I disagree with our township not allowing us to have them. But our neighbors don't care, we don't care, and no harm, no foul, no pun intended. All right, moving on to the next question. What is your favorite car? Now, I've been a car guy for a long time, most of my adult life, I would say. Even, I know I started really getting into cars in high school, maybe late middle school, early high school. Big into cars. I grew up in a small town in northern PA, which was a lot of trucks. So everyone had trucks, so obviously my love started with trucks. This is kind of a hard question, though. So if you want to talk about car, well, then I'm going to refer to just the sedan, coupe, and wagon genre. So this doesn't include SUVs, trucks. So if I had to go with that, and see, this is kind of a hard question, too, because favorite what? Dream car? My favorite car is the kind that I can afford to have. I know that's the shit answer, but it is what it is. I can talk about my dream car, I guess. I kind of have 2 dream cars. I know it's a cheap shot too, but one is, I know, not obtainable really in any way, shape, or form. The other one is more obtainable. The non-obtainable dream car for me, which would be one of my favorites, is a 1969 Boss 429 Mustang. That car has been on my quote-unquote dream car checklist since high school. I know since the first time I found out about that car, which was high school. That car is on. I would love to even just see one in person. Even finding photos of a 69 is very, very hard. Usually you find the 70s. But I would love, or you find the Boss 308s, not the Boss 429. So I would that is one of my dream cars and not really obtainable. The other would be pretty much the more obtainable dream car would be any generation Porsche Cayman. I really love the Porsche Cayman. I know for most people when it comes to Porsche, they want a 911. And look, 911s are awesome. I love 911s. They're great. But given my druthers, if money was of no restriction, I would still go for a Cayman. So it has nothing to do with the money. It really comes down to the type of driving. I think a Cayman, they handle better. Yeah, you lose the back seat, but let's be fair. 911 rear seats might as well not exist anyway. 911 rear seats are only good for people who are either missing their legs or are below the height of 4 foot anyway. So they might as well not exist. But the Cayman is just a much more balanced vehicle that I absolutely love. I've driven 1, 2, 3 Caymans, a handful of 911s, and the Caymans, for some reason, always put a bigger smile on my face. So if I had to say if I had an obtainable favorite car that also happens to kind of be more of a dream car, it would be a Porsche Cayman. The newer ones are great, but even the older ones, I would take an older one too. Next up, did you ease into fasting? What do you ingest when fasting? Just water, coffee? Okay, so this is also another, this question also came from Instagram. Anyone who has followed me on Instagram in the past knows that I do intermittent fasting. I started in 2019, beginning of 2019. I weighed in one day. So when I got out of the military, I was around 205, 210 pounds. Once I got back from deployment, I actually, I was drinking a lot. I was on medication. I bulked up, or not bulked. I was cultivating a lot of mass, let's put it that way. And so I always fluctuated for a while. And 2019, in February of 2019, I stepped on the scale one day and I saw 235 pounds. And I knew that it was an oh shit. I didn't like how I felt. I didn't like how I looked. I needed to get my act under control. I knew that was not the weight I was supposed to be. And, my wife had just started doing intermittent fasting, so she was my gateway. And I'm like, you know what? I can do that. I'm not going to subscribe to any diet because diets don't work. You need a lifestyle. You don't need a diet. Diets don't work. You need to be able to make it something that is easy to do, because that's the reason why diets don't work. There's too many rules. That's what it comes down to. You can't do this. You can do this. You can't do that. So what I liked about intermittent fasting was that the rules were very simple. You stop eating at this time, and you don't eat anything until this time. Pretty simple. You can get more in depth than that, but to start off, it was very basic. I knew I wanted to fast for 16 hours because that's usually the minimum, and that gives you an 8-hour window to eat all your food. So I started out with my 3 meals. Told myself I was not going to change what I ate, just when I ate it. My first meal of the day would be 10:30. That was my breakfast. My lunch would be at 2:30, and my dinner would be at 6:30. And then that was it. The only thing I had after that was just water and my black coffee in the morning. That's it. So that kind of goes into that. I was only drinking water and black coffee. And to this day, I still only drink water and black coffee in the morning. I have 1 cup of coffee in the morning. It is just black. Black coffee does not break your fast. It's when you add things like cream, milk, sugar, sweetener, all that kind of stuff does. So that I did ease into it. I was still eating 3 meals a day. I didn't change what I ate. I just fasted for 16 hours every night. Now moving forward, once I started really getting into it and I was seeing the pounds just shed off, I kind of went a little bit more hardcore. I was like, okay, I know how. I started becoming a little bit more in tune with how my body felt. So I'm like, well, if I only get 8 hours to eat, then what I eat now needs to change, because if I only get 8 hours to do something and I'm filling that 8 hours with crap, then I'm going to feel like crap regardless if I'm fasting or not. So I want to feel, as much as I love food, I want to feel fantastic too. So that's when I started, because several months in, probably I'd say about 6 months into it, I decided to actually change up what I was eating as well, which then helped with more pounds falling off. So to this day, I've lost 55 pounds and I've managed to keep it off. The winter times, I usually go up just about 5 pounds because I'm not as active in the winter time. Once the summer comes, that 5 pounds is going to fall right back off again. So right now I'm hovering around 179, but at my lowest I was around 174. So a couple pounds here and there. That's what I do. But yes, so when I'm fasting, it's just water. A good rule of thumb for water. Fun fact: no one drinks enough water. You want to take your weight, divide it by 2. So cut your weight in half, and that is how many ounces of water you should be drinking a day minimum. So if you're 200 pounds, you should be drinking at least 100 ounces of water a day. Again, not a medical professional, not a nutritionist, but that is really the consensus between a lot of health professionals, that they say you should be drinking a minimum of half your body weight in ounces. So I was 230. I started with 115 ounces of water a day. I still, even though I'm 55 pounds lighter, I still drink about that same amount of water. The joke in the house is that I'm the water champ. I drink a lot of water a day. So I know I have a nice 32-ounce glass that I drink from, and my goal is to drink about 4 or 5 of those a day is my goal. Try to drink two before lunch and 2 after lunch, and maybe 1 with dinner. I know the first thing I do when I wake up is I drink an entire glass of water, because you do lose a lot of water and electrolytes in your sleep. And I do have an electrolyte that I drink in the morning. It's Element, LMNT. I think it's drinkelement.com. That stuff is fantastic. I drink 1 cup every single morning as soon as I wake up, and then I make my coffee. So that's it. I know that's a long answer to a simple question, but I felt it needed a little bit of a background. Next up, what interior hard surface cleaner / conditioner do you use or suggest? I have an All-Track. Well, I also have an All-Track. I love it. It's a great car. I have a 2018 Golf All-Track. I'm not sure what year you have, but when it comes to detailing, this is a question that I've actually gotten quite a bit, especially this year, because people are a little paranoid with COVID and they want to clean the inside of their car. I've done more interior details in the last year than I think I have in the whole 5 years of being in business. So I use so pretty much all the products I use come from Optimum Car Care, which they are down in Memphis, Tennessee. They are a fantastic company. All made in America. You can actually call them up and ask to speak to the owner and the creator of all the products. They're an awesome company to deal with. I use Optimum Power Clean. It is a general purpose cleaner. It can be diluted, so I use it 3-to-1 typically. So 3 parts water to 1 part Power Clean, and that is usually good enough for most interior messes. If something's really stubborn, I try not to use a more concentrated formula. I try to just maybe do it again, let it dry, do it again. But typically 3-to-1 is good enough for me. And then they also have a really nice conditioner. It's called, actually there's 2 names for it. It's either Protectant Plus or Leather and Hard Surface Protectant, I think are the 2 names. But Protectant Plus will usually get you in the right direction. That leaves a nice matte finish, whether it's on leather, real leather, or fake leather, or vinyl or plastic. It leaves a nice matte finish. It's not greasy. It dries nice, and it just feels clean. It's not like Armor All grease. It's really nice. And everything, like I said, is made in America. It's all biodegradable, and it's all water soluble. So, it's all water based. So there's no harmful chemicals in any of this stuff. It's fantastic. I use it for, again, everything. Seats, Seats, steering wheels, dash, center consoles, door panels. You can be used on the outside of the car too, but in regards to this question was for interior hard surface cleaner, that's what I use. And then I always follow it up with Protectant Plus. I actually think I do have a video on the Bearded Detailer's Instagram and IGTV video that kind of shows what I do for seats. So hopefully that answers your question. And last but not least, I would like to, I'm going to kind of cut off the limit at 5 questions for every Q&A. Maybe less, but 5 would be the most. Last question. What's the most annoying noise? Well, contrary to what Dumb and Dumber showed in the movie, I think personally the most annoying noise that I have ever experienced in the world is a cat throwing up. If you have cats, you know this noise. You've heard it. I think on top of it is one of the only noises that can wake me up from a dead sleep is that sound of a cat trying to just dislodge it from its throat. It's just, it is the most annoying noise in the world. It's kind of a joke in our family that if someone's being annoying, we just start doing the cat throw up noise and kind of spices up the conversation. But yes, so that is the most annoying noise in the world to me, is a cat throwing up. So that's all I got. That's the end of the Q&A. That's the end of the introduction. I can't even speak. That's the end of our introduction episode for today. That's all I got. Again, thank you all for listening. I know this is seems like I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but I do. This will get cleaned up over time. I do want to thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Please do me the solid favor of letting somebody else know to check it out. Please go check out my other podcasts as well, like I mentioned, Tales of Honor podcast. And head on over to thebeardeddetailer.com/professionalamerican. And if you have any questions, you can message me on any, like I said, Instagram or Facebook, or you can email at professionalamericanpodcast@gmail.com. And till next time, I'm Christoph Ambrosch, and we'll catch you later. I'm sure I'll have a fun catchphrase that will get said many times at the end of every episode, but I don't have one yet. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.